Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Andy.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. You?
I'm great, thanks. Yeah, good to hear. So, first, let me congratulate you on being voted Guitarist of the Year 2011.
Thank you very much.
How does that feel?
It was very, very cool. Very cool. It was a good experience. Met some cool people. So yeah, very, very honoured to have that title.
Yeah, it's definitely a great honour. So,
Yeah.
I've followed your playing ever since discovering your lessons on infinite guitar,
Right. Yeah.
and I've watched your reputation for ridiculously tasty guitar playing grow ever since. So, have you always had an idea or even a plan of the direction that your career was going in?
No, not really. Um, to be honest, though, in terms of guitar playing, it just started because of like most people, just for a love of guitar. Plus, it was a real challenge. I wanted to find something to really concentrate and work hard on. And luckily, I discovered the guitar. Um, just at that point, I was kind of a late starter. I was like 17 when I first started, um, but I was ready to put my heart and soul into it. So that's what I did, and spent a lot of time practicing. Some ridiculous hours. It wasn't like I consciously sat down and thought I'll put loads of hours in. It just happened because I was so engrossed in what I was doing. And most artists say that anyway. Time just disappears when you're creating and working on something. So that's kind of how it worked out. And it's not been a conscious thing, but obviously over time I've realised that that's what I need. I want to make a career out of. So I've kind of veered off in that kind of direction, so that I'm kind of trying to keep in control of what I'm doing at the moment. Hope that's answered your question.
Definitely. So it's a labour of love more than anything else.
Absolutely, and it stays that way. But when you're sort of making a living from it, you need to remind yourself that it's not about money. Obviously you've got to pay the bills and everything like anybody else, but you do this because you love it, and that's it. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. Anything else that comes from it is a bonus, but I want to try and retain that same kind of excitement and love that I had for it, for the instrument and music, right from the word go.
Yeah. So well, it's interesting because I was going to ask about your pursuing a career, and I know that you started teaching after you'd only been playing for a couple of years. So
Yeah.
was that again just a matter of you knew that teaching would help you as a player or give something back, that kind of mentality?
Absolutely. I mean, I worked pretty hard, so I made quite considerable progress in a relatively short space of time. And I thought, absolutely, as you said, that I could not only sort of help people improve as players with kind of the things that I picked up at that point, but also, even back in those early days, I was open to learning from students coming in, because I'm always keen to take on the perspective of somebody else, put myself in somebody else's shoes, and that's, for me, how you learn the most. And that doesn't stop at music, as a human being, that's what I try and do, so that I can kind of understand what somebody else is going through, and that's helped me to sort of hone my craft, as it were.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, you're obviously a very busy guy. I've noticed that there's increasingly a number of activities that you're involved in. Now, obviously, you enjoy doing what you're doing, and it's all part of the musical experience. But how important is having a strong work ethic when it comes to marketing and promoting? Because obviously, doing it for the love of it, but at the same time, maybe one day you think, right, I would rather just sit down today and maybe work on a song, but you've got to instead be working on facets of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, the what I do when what I look to do when I've got some free time is play video games, which is not healthy. But yeah, absolutely, you've got to maintain, a strong work ethic if you want to succeed. Sort of certainly in the music business, you're not going to get very far if you don't organise how you're going to approach it. And for me personally, I know I've got a weakness in terms of my approach to the business side of music. It's something that I've always been aware of, and have just kind of put to one side in the past because, for one reason or another, that's what I decided to do. But now, I've got to take it seriously, and I've got to work hard at the business side of it and promoting and pushing myself, because unless you've got somebody else to do that, nobody's going to do it for you. So you've got to learn as much as possible about that particular aspect of the music industry, and it will be of great benefit to you, I think.
And I would imagine that a great deal of maybe what you've learned has been experiential kind of learning, just from getting out there and doing it. And
absolutely, there's no replacement for that kind of experience. It's an essential part of development as a musician. To get out there and experience life as it happens, and you've got to take the rough with the smooth kind of thing as well, because things aren't always going to go your way, and you've got to keep a straight head when they don't, so that you don't end up in a negative space. But it's very, very easy to do. It's very easy to become disheartened when things aren't going your way musically, especially when it's when you're talking about an instrument like the guitar. There's a lot of competition out there, and I don't see it as competition. What I mean is, if you want to succeed in this business and make a living out of it, you've got to be aware of all of these things. So there does come a point where, as you've quite rightly said, it's fair enough, having a love for the instrument, but if you want to make a living out of it, you've got to get your business hat on.
Yeah, I suppose there's always somebody out there that's willing to work harder, I suppose. So
Absolutely. You've got. It's always like when I used to train in the gym. It was always one of the things that I picked up from some other guys was to, when you think you've trained hard enough, put 110% in, not 100%. And that's always going to come across. And it's very important, the image that you give to other people. If you give put across an image that is kind of like, I do things for 90%. It's not good enough. You know what I mean? You've got to put 110% into it, and people will see that as a really positive thing.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, with all those things in consideration, what advice would you offer to upcoming musicians who are willing to put in the work to gain the recognition in the industry?
One of the things that I think is extremely useful is to get out there and see what other people are doing. Meet as many people as possible, get as much advice as possible as you can from as many different areas as you can. Find out what works for other people, how they approach things, so that you end up with a whole load of ideas that you can actually, weed out and get to the ones that you think will really work. So essentially, what I'm saying is that you need to keep an open mind and be open to learning, because it's not just about the music. It's obviously you've got to apply that to the business side of it too. So, but also you've got to remind yourself at the same time. You've got to pull back every now and then and say, hang on, why is it I'm doing this in the first place? Because I love music. So you've got to remind yourself of that.
So I suppose that's a big motivator as well.
It is, absolutely, yeah, because you can easily become bogged down with it. When you when it's your career, and there are bills coming through the door, and you've got things to pay. It can feel a little bit disheartening when you're constantly thinking about music in terms of money and the business side of it. So you've got to remind yourself of why you're doing it. And that helps you to keep your head straight and go onwards and upwards, as they say.
So just a little bit now about what you've been up to recently. So I've been following your column in Guitar Interactive magazine.
Yes.
So I'm interested, how did that come about?
It was through a friend of mine, good old Tom Quayle. He was doing work for Lick Library, and they mentioned to him that they were starting this interactive magazine off, and he recommended me to them, and that's how I got that particular gig. And it's great. I'm really, really pleased to be involved with it. They've got some fantastic players and fantastic teachers for the magazine, and it's fantastic to be part of it. The other thing is reviewing musical equipment is something I'm actually new to, so that's been a real learning curve doing that. And also filming in their studios is quite stressful at times.
Yeah.
When you've got all the lights there and you've got to get things done. It's a lot of the time you can't sit there doing loads of takes. You've got to be on the ball, and again, it's what it boils down to is that old saying: failure to plan is planning to fail. So if you don't prepare, then it's you'll have problems. But yeah, in terms of Guitar Interactive, it's great to be involved with that. It's a really professional looking publication, and I'm really excited about it, where it's going to go in the future.
It's a really innovative idea, I think, having it online, but
it is.
I've seen other things online that have been kind of lacking, but I see that it's like a full magazine, videos, everything's...
It is, absolutely. It's completely interactive, All the reviews are there on video, on every page, so it really is a groundbreaking publication. And with each issue, because I think we're only at issue 4 at the moment, I'm going down next week to film for issue 5 at the studios, and as each issue goes by, any previous problems that we've had with the previous issues have been ironed out, so it's getting better every issue. So as I say, I'm really, really excited to see where it's gonna go in the future. But the possibilities are pretty amazing with that kind of interactive sort of approach. It makes it interesting to see where hard copies of magazines are going to go. Because everybody's online these days, and most people do their work online and research online, and also the fact that it's free is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Tom Quayle earlier on. So just a wee bit about your summer workshop that he's doing in Leeds. Just if you could talk just a little bit about the whole sort of the conception behind the workshops and the feedback that you've been receiving from doing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the first one started last year. Because I was living in France, and Tom and I briefly talked about doing something. I was actually going to arrange something in France, kind of like a summer camp in southern France. But for one reason or another, I ended up moving back to the UK. And when I got back, we decided to talk a little bit more about it and decided to actually put it into action, and started the first workshop last year, summer 2010, which went down really, really well. It was a really good group of guys, all similar kind of levels, and it was a really great experience. So we decided to do it again this year, and again it was an absolutely fantastic experience with some great players, and we had some great moments there, both jamming and the time we spent in the evenings, curry and beer. It's all good.
When you're speaking about the level of players, I've actually had my eye on Jack Gardner recently.
Yeah.
I've seen some videos of him, I think it was the one last year, and I compared him to this recent video that you did recently. He's becoming a very, very amazing player.
Yeah, he's a special player.
Yeah.
And on top of that, one of the nicest guys that you could ever meet. The guy's just mega talented, and I'm really excited for where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Because he's such an exceptional player and such a top guy. And for me, they go hand in hand. When I see somebody who's got that much talent, and they're decent people, decent human beings on top of it. That's the important thing. So yeah, Jack's a beast, as he would say.
um, so yeah, well, I'll definitely be trying to make it along to the workshop next year. Will you be doing it? Yeah, next year.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be doing it again
Um,
next.
sounds like
Uh,
a fantastic weekend.
yeah, it is. It's great. I mean, all the guys that come, they end up making, good friends with the other guys that are there, and it's good contacts for them. Some of them have met up since and have jammed together and that. So it's great to have sort of been responsible or partly responsible for putting these guys in touch with each other. It's brilliant, and both Tom and I have come away learning more each time. From the students. So for us, it's an absolutely amazing experience, and we're really, really looking forward to doing it again next year.
I think just when you're speaking about everybody's hooking up, and it's good to know that there's still kind of a community within
Yeah,
this, because with all the stuff that's online just now, I mean, as good as like Guitar Interactive is, and YouTube, it kind of lots of players I think just want to be in their bedroom, and it's good to know that they can meet up and they can have real world experiences still in the modern age.
well, the workshop that we do gives people those opportunities. Um, it's an opportunity for them to join like-minded people and jam together and learn from other guys. And like you say, it gets them away from this sort of bedroom syndrome, which these days is, it's all too common. I mean, you've got to have a place to practice. You've got to sit down and work hard, but you've got to apply what you practiced in the real world. You've got to get out, play live, play with different musicians, talk to different musicians. Learn as much as you can from every single, area that you possibly can. So, as I say, doing these workshops and really giving people the opportunity, bringing, sort of guitarists together, it's a fantastic thing. So, really looking forward to next year.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be along to check that out. I can't miss that. And I'd imagine that's something that you will be refining over time.
Absolutely. When we did the first one, we came away, making notes and saying, oh, maybe we could have improved that. Tom will have his approach that he will look at the things that he could improve, and the same with me. So, and how we can interact together. And this is one of the reasons why we decided to do the workshops together, is that together, both of us, we form quite a good connection in that Tom's, heavily into the jazz side of things, whereas I'm kind of a rock guy that still I'm into the sort of fusion, and jazz type side of playing, but the roots are rock based. So when we come together, it enables us to cover as much ground as we possibly can, So my kind of role is to talk to people about how they can break out of that rock rut, you know what I mean, and incorporate some more sort of modern kind of fusion sounds into their playing. And then, Tom's approach is to really go in depth with the jazz theory kind of side of it, So we work really well together in that kind of way.
Just when you're talking about your own playing, I've actually been trying to steal some of your licks recently. I've noticed you do a lot of kind of really behind the beat sort of swung type phrases that I hear you're kind of adding even more so recently.
That's cool. I'm glad you're pinching them. Steal away.
Cool.
Rhythmically, I've been trying to work quite hard on my rhythm recently, because as a rock player, I spent years and years just sort of floating over the beat without really paying much attention to it. Although that is a great thing too, I'm not knocking that particular side of playing. But I wanted to be a bit more in control of the rhythm and how I play rhythms. So that's something that I'm really trying to work on as much as I can at the moment. So, but yeah, you steal as many licks and phrases as you want. I'm happy for that.
Well, that will happen. I've noticed in quite a few of your YouTube videos that an essential part of your rig is a glass of wine. Would you say that this gives your playing the edge?
I actually am one of those guys that I have, 2 or 3 glasses of wine and I actually play. I get into it more. Whereas some other guys, they tend to sort of lose their playing. You know what I mean? When they've had 1 or 2 too many. But yeah, I'm a big wine fan. I like to learn as much as possible about wines, and I enjoy drinking wine. Obviously, not not too much, but I enjoy it, specifically with meals and so on. So I do like to sit, and when I'm jamming with Tom or Jack, I like to sit there with a nice glass or two of wine. It just smooths out the edges, if you know what I mean.
So does your love of wine, is that anything to do with living in France?
Not necessarily, although when I was in France, I was in an area that I was surrounded by chateaux all over the place, and I used to get my wine from a particular chateau, which was literally 10 minutes from where I lived. It was up in the hills, and it was absolutely fantastic to go to this place. So I ended up learning quite a lot about grape varieties and wine and soil and so on when I was in France, not prior to going. So that kind of heightened my appreciation for good wine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So right, so gear wise, you've went from a couple of years back being a Flaxwood endorser to obviously now you're with Suhr. So do you feel as if you're at home playing Suhr guitars now?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I just can't see it any other way really, because the guitars are just so suited to what I was looking for. I'm sort of really excited to be part of the Suhr family, and they make absolutely fantastic instruments. So I've just put another order in for a Suhr Classic, well, a few months back, so I should be getting that pretty soon, which I'm excited about. So yeah, I'm glad I found a company that make guitars that are really, really suited to what I'm looking for.
Yeah, they're a fantastic company.
Yeah, very good. And all the guys there seem like really nice guys too. So it's great to be a part of that.
I think when we were talking earlier on about your approach to the business and playing being the main factor, I think a lot of guitar companies in the modern age are more inclined to sell as many point A guitars for as much money as they can, whereas Suhr, although that comes with the price tag, but it seems that they're very, very dedicated to making the best guitars that they can
Absolutely
make.
Absolutely. I think that's just specifically John Suhr's approach to it. That's how important it is to him, and that comes across in the product that he puts out there. Yeah, they're not cheap, but you're guaranteed that you're going to get something that's extremely high quality. One of the things that really struck me about, for one, my first guitar, the Suhr Modern, is that how resonant it is. Unamplified. The first day I got it, I didn't plug it in for 24 hours. Just because I was sat there, enjoying playing it unamplified. It's fantastic to really hear it in that way. Like I say, they're so resonant. They're fantastic instruments.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be adding one to my collection very soon.
Yeah, what are you going for?
I'm not really sure. It'll be a modern.
Right.
But
a lot of place, isn't there? A lot of things to choose from.
Yeah. Well, the local, in Glasgow, Guitar, the store, I'm in there often, perusing their selection, and every time you pick one up, you go, this is the one, and then you pick the next one, this is the one, and
that happens all the time. When we did the workshop, there are a lot of guys with Suhr guitars there, so you end up picking one up and going, this is the best Suhr I've ever played. And you pick up another guy and you go, hang on a minute, this might have taken it. So you just seem to play, it's one after the other. You think you've found the perfect guitar, and you find another one. They're all just extremely high quality instruments.
Yeah, I played the Scott Henderson model, and I mean, when I looked at it in the shelf, my friend who I was with was just like, oh, it's just a Strat. You're not going to pay that amount for a Strat. And then I picked it up, and it's deceiving. It's an absolute amazing guitar, but such kind of a simplicity.
Yeah. I based my second Suhr on the Scott Henderson model, so I'm kind of, to be honest, I've always been a Strat guy. I absolutely love the single coil sound of Strats. So if I wasn't with Suhr, I would be playing a Strat. Chances are. So, yeah, they are quite deceptive instruments, especially the Suhr classics.
I've actually had quite an epiphany recently when you're saying that. I've went from being a pure humbucker guy to I had my coil tap and my Ibanez, and I find
Right.
using the single coil sound most of the time. It really has a kind of, it's raw. It's really raw sound, and it's hard to describe.
I do. I love single coils, I think, which is strange because every single guitar I've got has humbuckers in it. So that's silly, really. But anyway, I'm looking forward to getting my second Suhr because that's got all single coils. So can't wait to get that in my dirty little paws.
Oh, because so you're also a Splon amplification artist now.
Yeah.
So how did you discover Splon?
Basically, I went out earlier on in the year just searching for a decent amp because I was a bit concerned because for ages I've tried various different amps and just thought, I can't seem to find what's suited to me, what's suited to my playing style. And I did get a Cornford, which Cornford are fantastic. They make absolutely stunning amps, but there was just something that wasn't quite there for me in terms of my playing style. You know what I mean? Anyway, I went to a place shop in Manchester. I went with Tom. We just went trying out different amps. I wasn't necessarily going to come away with anything, but tried a variety of different amps. Soldano, I can't remember the exact model, and a few others. They were okay. Didn't really do it for me. Anyway, I plugged into a Splon Nitro, and absolutely, from the moment I plugged in, I was like, "This is my sound," straight away. So I spent a while, messing around with it. Went off, had a bit of lunch, had a glass of wine, came back, thought, "No, this is it." So I ended up buying it and got in touch with the company, sent them some stuff, and they said, "Yeah, great, be great to have you on the artist list." So yeah, that's how it worked out.
So, what has been the reception to your fantastic Inside Out album?
It's been absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic. I've had some really, really good feedback from guys all over the world saying that they absolutely love the music, which for me is just amazing. To write tunes that people seem to really appreciate is just phenomenal. So yeah, I've been really pleased with the general feedback, and it's still selling really, really well across the world. So I'm a happy bunny. But I've got to think about doing album number 2 now.
And have you got an idea where that's going to go? Have you got some material that you're...
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of material, but it's just a matter of other things getting in the way and getting the time to actually, sit down and actually, say, right, okay, this is going to be finished. So it's like what you were talking about earlier on about finding time to work on, the things that you love, which is like creating music. It's quite difficult when you've got, offers of work coming in. You have to put those on the back burner.
Bills to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. Bills to pay. That bloody chestnut again.
So in the future, how about some live shows performing with a band? Your material.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's definitely something that it's the place that I'm the happiest. When everything's right in terms of the sound and everything. But at the moment, so many other things are in the way. Of working on that side of it. I'm working on my website at the moment. It's taking a fair bit of time to create the content for that. I've had some offers for recording on artists' albums and stuff. So this is going to take a lot of my time. So the live thing is something that I will concentrate on a bit further on down the line. Once I've actually said to myself, right, okay, I'm going to get a band together and I'm going to do my, play my stuff live. So I've got to have the time and the space available to do that. So
Yeah, of course. So what's in store for Rick Graham over the next year?
I'm just going to play it by ear, see what happens. Take it as it comes. Hopefully there'll be more opportunities to work with musicians. I'm going to spend a lot of time working on my website, the content of the website. So I really want to build that side of it. It's good for me too because I enjoy sitting down working on material. So tuition material. And it's good fun filming and putting backing tracks and so on together. So I really want to put as much as I can into my website. And hopefully the coming year will be as productive as this one. So.
Yeah, and I really liked your recent idea with the YouTube backing track video with the chord changes and the scale suggestions, and is that you're going to be?
Definitely, I'm definitely incorporating that into part of the backing track packs that I'm making available on my website, because I thought about it and realised that people sometimes, when you've got a backing track there and you've got a PDF or something, it's quite hard to have the two together. You're flicking between one and the other. So with a backing track video, you've got the audio there, but you've also got your visual references within the video. So, I think it's something definitely I'm going to explore a bit further.
Yeah, and I look forward to that. So, well, thanks for your time, Rick.
That's Andy.
And I wish you the best of luck with all your endeavours.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so have a nice day, Rick.
You too, Andy.
All right, cheers, Rick.
Take care, mate.